Mujahadeen, holy fighter. Well, you know us Christians, we're holy fighters too. Watch your fucking back, ragheads.